never trust an OM. Hey guys, Brenton Hanes here. I just want to make a real quick video. You always hear me talking about the numbers and don't get the numbers wrong. Well, I want to dive in it a little bit more for you here today. But before we get into it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. So what do I mean by never trust an OM? Well, let's start with what an OM is. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's called an offer memorandum. So it's basically a marketing package or information about a property that's being marketed for sale. So, and what I mean by never trust an OM is you really need to dive into the numbers. You need to understand them and realize what you're really looking at. Just don't plug in numbers on your property analysis sheet. Now, in speaking of that, if you need a property analysis sheet, you can go to my website and download one for free. It's at realestate365.net. I'll put a little link in the comments below. You can download it. I do ask for some basic information. That's just to let you know a new version is out. So you are always working on the latest version. But yeah, so let's dive into the numbers a little bit. When you get an OM, you want to really look at the numbers. One of the key indicators is round numbers. It just tells us we're probably not working with accurate numbers, especially if just one set of numbers is round. So the other day I was doing analysis for a client of mine and I started plugging through the numbers and putting the analysis sheet together. They said it was a 5.39 cap on a 6-unit apartment building. I'm not going to say whose listing it was or location or anything like that. And I started diving into the numbers. Now for me, typically I'm going to put in some of my own staple numbers for some things like property management or maintenance, reserves, and whatnot. And I'm going to use the actuals for insurance, water, sewer, electric, gas, landscaping, things of that nature. So when I was getting through it, I was looking at the maintenance expense they're using, and it had $3,000 for the annual maintenance on a 1959 building. Well, obviously for me, that threw up some red flags. That is 3.3% of the scheduled gross income. Now, I don't care if that building's been completely gutted. It probably is not using $3,000 a year for maintenance. Now, I called the broker and I asked him about it. I said, hey, what's going on? Do we have some historicals? And he said, no, the building's been, mostly rehabbed. And so he plugged that number in. So realistically, on a building of that age, that size, I'm probably going to start off with at least 10% for my maintenance right off the bat. Now, if I have some historicals that show otherwise, at least 3 years that show less than that, then maybe I'll make an adjustment for that number, but I'm going to stay conservative with my maintenance number. I know from experience in owning properties myself, especially around that age, that $3,000 a year on a 6-unit building or 3.3% is not going to cut it for maintenance expense at all when I'm doing my analysis. Now, when I plug in my 10%, we're changing that cap rate from a 5.39 to a 4.7 cap. So you can see just a little bit in expenses increase can really drop that cap and really affect the numbers. So be sure to spend some time going through those numbers and ask questions. Now, before when we make an offer, we're going to receive all those books and records and we're going to be able to dissect it even more. But initially, we already know we're not going to waste too much more time on this. It's unrealistic. And yes, this happens a lot more than I'd like to see when I'm analyzing property. See it all the time in OM. So be aware of what's going on. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Like I said, this is just a short video. Download that free property analysis sheet from our website if you haven't already, www.realestate365. And I'd love any feedback and love to see some of the crazy stuff that you guys have seen in some of the offerings out there. So hope you're having a great day and we'll see you on the next one.